In a world that feels like it's just spinning faster and faster every day, do you ever get that feeling that you're chasing a version of happiness that's, well, always just out of reach? What if the secret to finding real peace wasn't in the next big thing, but in wisdom from over 2,000 years ago? Today, we're going to dive into the timeless teachings of the philosopher Lao Tzu to uncover a really practical guide for finding balance in our, let's face it, pretty chaotic modern lives. So let's just start with an idea that might feel completely backward at first. Lao Tzu said, seeking is the only barrier to realizing your greatness. I mean, how wild is that? Our entire culture just screams at us to hustle, to strive, to constantly chase that next thing. But what if that constant, frantic search is the very thing that's holding us back? It's a huge idea, and honestly, it's the key that unlocks everything we're about to explore. Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we've got to understand the foundation for all of this, which is the concept of the Tao. Once we get that down, we'll walk through the 5 paths that build on it, embracing authenticity, living in the now, practicing non-interference, seeing the whole, and then we'll wrap up with effortless action. So, let's begin. Right, before we can even start walking those 5 paths, we first have to understand the ground they're built on. This is our foundational concept, the Tao. And it's not a religion, it's not a set of rules, but a profoundly different way of seeing and, well, moving through life. So what exactly is the Tao? It's often called the pathless path because it's not some destination you arrive at. It's more like a state of being that you learn through your own experience. The core idea here is to get to a state of let go. Think of it like this. If you try to hold water in your fist, the tighter you squeeze, the more of it just slips right through your fingers. But the Tao suggests that if you just open your hand, you can actually hold it. It's all about relaxing your mental grip and just allowing life to unfold, instead of trying to force it into a box. This slide really shows the 2 mindsets perfectly. Over on the left, that's how most of us operate by default, Your ego loves control. It loves structure. It loves putting everything in neat little boxes. But the Tao mindset, over on the right, it flips that completely. It's about letting go, finding your flow, seeing the unity in things, and really prioritizing who you want to be over what you feel you need to do. This shift is absolutely the key to everything else we're going to talk about. Okay, so with the Tao as our foundation, let's step on to the very first of the 5 paths, embracing authenticity. This is all about stripping away the masks that we all wear and asking a really fundamental question. Are you more focused on what you think you need to do, or on who you truly, genuinely want to be? Authenticity, in this sense, is really about aligning with your true inner nature. We all feel that pressure, don't we? That pressure to fit into a certain mold just to earn respect or success. This path is about finding the courage to say, hey, my way is valid, because real fulfillment, it never comes from someone else's approval. It comes from being true to yourself. So how can you actually apply this? Let's take your career, for example. Instead of just chasing the next promotion, what if you tried something called job crafting? Finding small ways to bring your real passions into the work you already do. Or what if you just owned your communication style? Maybe you find power in writing because you're more of an introvert. See, it's not about changing who you are for your job. It's about shaping your job to better reflect who you are. Now, once you start connecting with your authentic self, it naturally leads us right to our second path, living in the now. If authenticity is all about who you are, then presence is about where you are. And really, the only place you can ever truly be is right here, right now. Lao Tzu had this pretty radical suggestion. He said, stop thinking and end your problems. He really understood that most of our pain doesn't come from what's actually happening, but from our thoughts about what's happening. Endlessly replaying the past or just worrying about the future. Being present means letting go of that whole mental story and just fully arriving in the here now. A perfect modern way to practice this is what's known as deep work. I mean, so much of our day is shallow work, right? We're jumping between emails, notifications, tasks. It's exhausting. The antidote is to schedule a block of focused time. Silence the phone, close all those extra tabs, and just immerse yourself in one single thing. That's where you find that incredible, super satisfying state of flow. So when you're authentic and you're present, you're a lot less likely to feel that need to control everything. And this brings us to what can be a really challenging third path: practicing non-interference, which is known as Wu-Wei. This is all about letting go of our obsession with trying to control outcomes, especially when it comes to other people. Wu-Wei is often translated as non-action, but it really means non-interference. It's about not forcing outcomes. And Taoism is pretty radical on this point. It basically teaches that judging other people is a total waste of energy, and trying to force them to change is actually a form of violence. It's about a deep, deep acceptance of others and the natural flow of life, just as they are. A really powerful way to practice this today is with something called the let them theory. You know, when someone gets that promotion you really wanted, let them. When a friend makes a choice you just wouldn't make, let them. You just release that need to control it or resent it. And this isn't passive. You can then analyze their success. Is there some kind of strategy you can learn from? It completely transforms your frustration into acceptance and even growth. When you stop trying to interfere with all the little individual pieces, something pretty amazing happens. You actually start to see the bigger picture. And this is our fourth path, seeing the whole. It's about developing a holistic perspective and seeing how everything is truly connected. Lao Tzu makes this beautiful distinction here. Knowledge divides. It's about collecting facts, like knowing the names of all the parts of an engine. But knowing unites. It's understanding how the engine works as a whole, feeling its rhythm. It's the difference between just listing ingredients and actually tasting the finished meal. It's about seeing the underlying unity in absolutely everything. So how do we get this knowing? Well, it's by achieving what we could call psychic synergy. It just means you stop relying only on your logical, analytical brain. You have to integrate it with your creative, intuitive side. So when you're facing a problem, don't just break it down into pieces. Step back and try to feel for the overall pattern, the unspoken connections. This is how you achieve a much deeper, more complete understanding of things. And all of this, the authenticity, the presence, the non-interference, and a holistic view, it all leads us to the fifth and final path, where it really comes together: effortless action. Now, this isn't about being lazy. It's about completely changing your relationship with getting things done. Hey, remember that quote from the very beginning? Seeking is the only barrier? This is where it all clicks into place. Effortless action means your effectiveness flows from who you are, not from desperate striving. Success and happiness, they stop being these goals you desperately chase. Instead, they become the natural rewards of living an aligned life. So what does this look like in practice? Well, if you have a huge goal, forget about perfection paralysis. Just take one small right step. Then, focus on building a consistent system, like writing for just 15 minutes every single day, instead of obsessing over the final book. You put in your best, most authentic effort, and then, and this is the real Taoist twist, you surrender the how. You trust that the path is going to open up as you walk it. It's so important to see that these 5 paths aren't a checklist you just tick off. They're more like a cycle. Your authenticity fuels your presence. Your presence helps you let go of judgment. And letting go allows you to see the whole picture. And, well, when you see the whole picture, your actions become naturally, almost magically, effortless. Each path strengthens all the others, creating a solid foundation for a truly harmonious life. I want to leave you with this really powerful idea. Life is not going to go your way. You have to go your way and take life with you. This is all about actively choosing your path, but with the wisdom to handle whatever life happens to throw at you. So my question for you is this: which one of these 5 paths really hit home the hardest for you today? Was it embracing authenticity or maybe practicing non-interference? Drop a comment below and let me know the one path you want to focus on this week. I'm really curious to see what you choose. If you got some value from this explainer, a like is always, always appreciated, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next one. Thanks so much for watching.